we'll just go around the table again.
We were lucky enough to meet with some of the top executives from our mid-market Fast 40, the fastest growing mid-market companies in North Carolina.
A business is good for us, but it's good because we've got the right people and the right customers.
We got some companies from across the state here.
They're not just from your regular metro areas in North Carolina. They're not from the Triad, the Triangle, those areas, which is really neat to see.
And that whole I-95 corridor in the South Carolina, Georgia area seems to be stronger for industrial.
We were privileged to really get some good insight and some good input from these leaders.
Over the last few years, it's been really good.
The cranes are coming out of the ground. Charlotte, you look out my window and there's more buildings being built than there's probably ever been at one point in time.
Things such as the workforce, challenges among retaining a good workforce.
As we get into that shortage, you're going to see compensation for those skills go up.
Generational things such as dealing with millennials.
When you look at a diverse group of contractors and manufacturers of cash machines and staffing companies, I think all of them have the same problem or challenge today that they had 10 or 20 years ago, and that's people. I mean, it's really getting great people, motivating great people, training great people. And so as you talk about all these diverse, it might be a welder, where do we find them? Or it might be a salesperson in Florida trying to find staffing people for construction. And so I think just sitting back, going around the table, we ended up on people, and then that kind of dovetails into really creating a culture of how do you engage your people, how do you motivate them, how do you inspire them. And so it was interesting and a really impressive group to kind of talk through the same issue, even though they're quite diverse.
We are nationwide, and communities seem to be very different throughout the country.
We have some unique problems here, and we have some problems that are common across the country.
We've been through 2 wars, an attack on the country, one of the worst recessions I think any of us have experienced, and we're still thriving.
Some of the challenges that they talked about were the uncertainties in the political.
Think about the companies that had announced plans for growth or plans to relocate themselves here, and they're choosing elsewhere.
I thought it was very interesting that we're still a little bit sensitive to the Great Recession, which was 10 years ago.
It's not like we've got another 10 years before we're going to have another one. The urban area has definitely seen more of a recovery than the rural.
Never forget in 2008 or 9, we had a group of our bankers come in and they sat in a room like this, so we were no longer making construction loans on a commercial basis. And that stung us. I mean, that stung the entire industry. What we're hearing now is that lenders are looking at portfolios. They're seeing the multifamily, is that overtaxed? Are they seeing that overbuilt? So they're shifting their funding to industrial. So what we're going to see is the market start shifting, as the lenders start shifting their funds.
Growth in our state can sometimes be a double-edged sword. This state has always been an incredible place to do business, and it's even more so now.
For retail, North Carolina is very strong for us. It seems like every grocery store chain in the world is wanting to move into North Carolina all of a sudden.
Because we have so many people relocating to North Carolina, that sets up a whole different aspect of problems for North Carolina. So we have such a huge population, how do we deal with it? How do these middle market companies deal with that growth? On one sense, it's good because they're bringing in some more folks in terms of workers and skilled labor force that they really are looking for. But at the same time, how do we deal with that growth? You know, how do we house them? How do we educate these folks?
It's the stigma that has been created by our secondary education, that if you want to be a pipe fitter, if you want to be a welder, an HVAC tech or a plumber, that's a bad thing. Every high school, their emphasis is on college prep, not being a mechanical HVAC tech. When they built this room, it created hundreds of jobs. But who's doing it? Who's putting the ceilings in, the wiring, the light fixtures? Who's doing that? They're not there.
The leadership at GTCC, the number of aeronautical people coming out of the community college, I mean, it has been a win.
Computer and technology is not going to solve every problem. We've got to have people.
I think at core, in our business in risk management insurance, you're about caring for people. And so you better listen to those people, better be engaging those people, and use technology to do it, but don't let the noise and distraction and precious time kind of get out far from the core, really caring for people.
We've got a family. We create unit presidencies where every individual in our company runs their own business. They are entrepreneurs. They are held accountable to their decisions, and we support their decisions, even if they're bad or good.
All in all, they're growing. They have plans for their growth and to keep on doing that so they can be on the list again next year. It's great to be with a bunch of folks who are experiencing success and are willing to share that success with our audience. And makes me, as publisher of the state's business magazine, feel really good about the future of business in our state.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you.